Chapter 3 The Awkward Silence of Being on Stage Again. Written by John P. Waterman. The older you get, the less you change. It seems like every year of my life was epiphany after epiphany, becoming a new me with the changing of the seasons. Well, that all slowed down somewhere. That somewhere is where I'd like to begin. A time after a long duration of debilitating dormancy. When I finally got another epiphany, the curtain opening for Act 2 after a long intermission. There I was, up on stage again. It had been nearly 10 years since I stepped on stage as a poet or storyteller. I had my reasons for the hiatus of haiku, so to speak. There was something in that Rochester, New York poetry artist scene that seemed the opposite of where I wanted to go. Competition, callous, ego-driven competition ruled, and all that goes with it. Not to mention I was young and self-exploring, and that led me to chase things other than a life as a philosopher-poet. And my chasing ran me in circles. Circles that became cycles. I found myself in a dark place, chasing a dream I never wanted. I knew I'd have to leave, go someplace really far away, where the immense magnetism of the scene couldn't reach me and suck me back in. Enter Kansas. No poets there, I presumed. A slow place, a slow pace, I eventually stopped changing. To be fair, though, I had found stability and serenity, and would it be arrogant to say I even found some humility? Within a decade of residing in Kansas, I found myself quite domesticated. Wonderfully, gratefully domesticated. To a poet, being content almost seems like a death plunge. Might as well jump off the plank than be ordinary. But I wasn't a poet anymore, though I wrote over 1,000 poems while not being one. Something was missing. Not only in my heart, but something in the city was missing. It felt like I had something to say, but where or how? Enter Ad Astra's Books and Coffee House, and Cash Hollister's One Mic. An open stage presented me. I started remembering how much I fed off saying something so profound that it left the audience in silence. An awkward moment where energy between crowd and performers exchanged, electrifying one another deep into the night, well after the mic is turned off. Did I miss it? Not really. Why did Cash's One Mic attract me so? A big part of me wanted to prove to the love of my life that this boring, bearded buffoon can shine bright when given the moment. The stage was my opportunity to show her that. I went. I performed. It wasn't to the best of my abilities, but definitely something grander and more elegant than the person presenting the prose. After the show ended, the response by the small, intimate crowd was something that filled a missing hole. We were all poets watching poets, and we all seemed to crave the same thing. Community. The sense of community was missing, and we knew how we'd communicate it. Through poetry. What a ride it's been since. Ultimately, in the climate of central Kansas, it was doomed to be a failed experiment from the beginning, but totally worth the effort. The movement stays alive through the people we reached. There's not one state in our fine country that our words didn't eventually end up. Getting up on stage again wasn't an instant change, or a complete change like the many epiphanies from the past. Getting up on stage again had revitalized purpose, reignited progression, Small steps that lead to continual change. Guaranteeing that I can keep it simple, while also being sure a new me will come around eventually, and so subtly that there isn't trauma following shortly behind in the shadows. In a way, it sort of makes me feel like I have many lives yet to live. Thank you. Poetry.